Tonight on Connecticut's news station, after the storm, parts of the state picking up, cleaning up, the efforts to get everyone back on the grid after widespread power outages.
And storms may have moved out, but the damage has already been done. One hotel was forced to bail out and get its guests to higher and drier grounds.
First responders along the shoreline say they were inundated with calls because of the storm. We're getting a look at the damage and just how dangerous conditions were, with down power lines and branches taking out wires.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. The rain hit areas all across the Northeast today, causing a lot of problems back here in Connecticut. Some areas were flooded. Take a look at this in Farmington. This is the Farmington River today, overflowing into the grass from the excessive rainfall.
Some power lines were knocked down as well. Here's Route 44 in Avon today. Crews were out working here and all across the state to fix the damage.
And after the rain comes a rainbow, right? A colorful sight over the mountains in Avon as the sun tried to peek out this afternoon. Finally, a little bit of sunshine.
Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank for a first look at the forecast. Now, Rach.
Yeah, and that's sun and omen for what's ahead in the coming days. Much calmer weather, but cooler temperatures. Of course, anything was colder than today. We had record warmth to go along with the rain, with the wind. It is out of here, though. That continues to move away. Still a bit breezy. Winds gusting right now up to 14 to 25 miles per hour towards the shoreline, but the winds will continue to diminish as we head through the evening tonight. But long after the last raindrops, some of the rivers will continue to rise. Yantic is starting to drop, with experiencing moderate flooding right now. The Still River will drop as well, but some of the bigger rivers like the Farmington River and the Connecticut River won't crest until later tomorrow or even Wednesday afternoon. So all of the water that fell has to continue to kind of collect, and that includes for areas farther to the north as well. And there was quite a bit of rain in northern New England, along with a lot of snow melt. Temperatures right now are still well above average for this time of year. We're above the average high temperature, and it's 10 o'clock at night. Taking a look at low temperatures, we'll be tumbling back into the 30s. We're not concerned with icing as we head through the evening and overnight hours. And heading through the day tomorrow, it looks like a really nice day to pause, push the reset button. There's still a lot of cleanup to do after this storm, and the weather will cooperate with that. High temperatures climbing into the low to mid 40s, a slight chance for a sprinkler flurry, but most of the state is going to stay dry. We do turn a bit colder than this for the arrival of winter. We'll take a look at that, and as we head into Christmas, your full forecast coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Well, thousands of people are still without power tonight after that severe weather swept through the state.
Yeah, Eversource says they'll have crews working through the night, restoring power across the state.
Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner joins us live in Colchester now to break down the numbers on how many are still in the dark tonight. DeAndrea.
Brent, there are about 32,000 people that are still without power tonight. I talked to one man here in Colchester who are amongst those numbers about how he's coming up with an alternative way to keep the lights on.
We got some text from Eversource today saying that it could be days until power's back on.
Tony Ficini is one of the many people lighting his Colchester home by a generator as he waits for his power to be cut back on after severe winds, rains, and floods hit the entire state.
We just went and bought a generator to hopefully get some power back on so the food doesn't spoil and stuff.
Eversource officials say that while the outages and damage was widespread across the state, the eastern part of the state, including Colchester, was one of the hardest hit. They say this will be a multi-day restoration as they focus on the largest hit communities to the smallest.
And how we go after outages, we're very rigorous about the largest outage first and then work our way down the list. That we found that's the fastest way to get all the customers back, the total amount of customers back the quickest.
They have more than 1,200 crews working around the clock, even bringing crews from out of state.
We make more progress in the light of the day, so the preponderance of our crews will finish up very late tonight. They return at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, but we still have a host of troubleshooters and a handful of crews that go through the night just to keep momentum going.
As cleanup and restoration continues, people like Ficini have to continue to ride out the remnants of this storm.
I can imagine they're probably swamped, but yeah, so we're just trying to do what we can with what we have.
And Eversource officials also tell me that they have crews working double shifts in order to get power back restored for many people across the state tonight. In Colchester, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, DeAndrea, thank you. In fact, so much rain fell in such a short amount of time that stormwater systems were overwhelmed in Meridan today. The heavy rain flooding the streets while the powerful winds brought down trees and power lines.
Fox 61's Matt Karen spent the day surveying the damage and talking to people who were impacted by the wet weather.
This whole street is completely flooded.
Waterfront property, Summer Street in Meridan, notorious for flooding. Just 4 months ago, in August, our cameras captured a flotilla of trash.
Overnight, we did get, those not only high winds, but a large amount of rain in a rather short period of time, which causes these flooding issues. It's not unique to Meridan. However, Meridan does have a history of flood-prone areas.
As streets became flooded Monday morning, social media quickly followed suit, flooded with the images from a backyard on Newton Street to this blocked culvert on Lyman Ave. Here on Lyman Ave in Meridan, you can hear and see the problem. There's a culvert that runs underneath this road carrying water. You can hear there's water, but this storm drain is completely blocked by debris and the culvert overgrown with vegetation. It completely flooded this area. Parking lots and property turned to ponds across the Silver City. But the flooding wasn't the only problem.
A 60 mile per hour wind, trees fell down and then knocked out the pole.
High winds overnight knocked down trees like here at the corner of Broad and Britannia Streets, knocking out power to the nearby Nathan Hale Elementary School.
No power.
No power.
What's your plan for the day?
Sit right here and watch them put up the pole.
The school secured some generator power and kept the kids in the gym until they were dismissed early. Parents told us they wish the district made an earlier decision to cancel.
Absolutely. They are not, they weren't ready for what happened, and we're clearly here at noon picking them up. So
I think the only good reason that they had school is, maybe if other kids had their houses out of power, it gives them a safe place to be. But yeah, we could have canceled today.
Monday's storm packed a punch. The Eversource map showed few communities were spared from outages.
Mayor Scarpati told me ultimately he thinks it was the right decision to have school today because a lot of kids rely on the schools for a meal. Also because by the time Nathan Hale Elementary lost power, students were already on the bus and teachers already in the classroom. Reporting in Meridan, Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Matt, thank you. First responders across Connecticut were out since yesterday working to make the roads safe for everyone. One Guilford police officer had a close call while responding to a call for a downed wire when a tree fell right onto his cruiser. Luckily, that officer walked away from the scene without a scratch.
And that's when he reported that he heard a snapping noise, and before he can even react to it, he had a tree across the front of his vehicle.
Now, Guilford police say they received several reports of people moving cones and tape away from closed-off roads, and they are reminding everyone that those barriers are there for a reason. And if you see them, turn around and find an alternate route to get where you're going for your safety and everyone else's.
New at 10 tonight, fire departments from multiple towns were called to a hotel in Norwich for flooding today. Firefighters arrived to the Comfort Suites Hotel on Ottobrando Avenue. People inside the hotel had to evacuate, but it's unclear how many. Yantic Fire Department says the hotel had a good amount of damage to the lower level of the building. Water broke through the windows there. Water also flooded the parking lot, as you can see. Fortunately, around noon, most of that water started to recede.
And some non-weather news tonight. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones says he will pay Sandy Hook families a minimum of $55 million over 10 years. That's just a fraction of the $1.5 billion awarded to the families in a lawsuit against Jones for calling the Sandy Hook school shooting a hoax. Meanwhile, the families have filed their own proposal. They are seeking to liquidate nearly all of Jones's assets. Jones and Free Speech Systems filed for bankruptcy last year.
New at 10, a Bridgeport man will spend the next 32 years in prison for a deadly armed robbery at a jewelry store in Stamford. The U.S. Attorney for Connecticut sentenced 66-year-old Thomas Liberatori for the deadly shooting back in 2020. Authorities say he shot and killed the owner of Marco Jewelers and made off with hundreds of thousands of dollars in jewelry. 2 accomplices were sentenced earlier this year.
Hartford's soon-to-be new mayor is looking to drum up more support from his new constituents. Mayor-elect Arunan Arulampalam held another public forum at the Hartford Public Library this evening alongside other city leaders. Mayor-elect Arulampalam says it's important to hear what the people have to say and get as many people engaged in the ongoing conversations to help Hartford thrive.
I know that you talk about bringing Hartford forward and really, making it what it's supposed to be. And I hope that it doesn't stop right here.
Look, this is an incredible room of people. There's so many people here, first of all, who are here just because you care about what this administration looks like and what we do for the city of Hartford, and you're part of that. And this city needs every single one of you. You are each an integral part of the beautiful tapestry of the city, and we need you to be involved.
Now, the mayor-elect will officially take office as the 68th mayor of the capital city next month. We have much more